What the is leadership? Thought-provoking conversations with expert leadership scholars, exceptional leadership practitioners, and other extraordinary individuals. Good day. I'm Jonathan Kroll, and I'm the Executive Director and a lead trainer of the Leadership Trainer Certification Program. And I am so excited and delighted to be in conversation with Joe Lamendola, a very close friend for decades. And he serves as the Director of Supply Chain for GAF, which is the largest roofing manufacturer in North America. Joe, welcome.
Thanks, Johnny. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So we start the conversation the same way every time. What the is leadership?
First of all, thanks for having me. But second of all, I don't appreciate that crass language. I didn't know this was going to be that kind of a program. No. So what the is leadership? It's a great question. Obviously, looking through a lot of your videos and asking your interviewees what that is. I've reflected for a while on what that means to me, and it comes down to one thing, and it's inspiring confidence in someone to get something done. That's it. Now, it's a difference between great leadership and just leadership, right? But it's really at the heart of it is just getting somebody to do something, inspiring that confidence to actually get it done.
Well, I might say to get shit done, not something. So talk to me then. What does it mean to inspire confidence? What does that look like in practice? How do we do that as leaders?
I mean, that's a great question. I think at the heart of it is empathy and showing appreciation for that person, is believing in their abilities to do something. And most of the time, it's in areas that they may not have the confidence in themselves. So it's to develop that, it's to grow that in them and show them that it's okay if you up, right? You're going to dust yourself off again and get right back out there and do it again. And they're going to crush it and be better as a result of it.
Well, so what's so interesting about that, which I really appreciate, is this underlying piece about releasing or relinquishing our control as leaders, that we can only allow for our people to fail, to up, if we allow them the space to do that, rather than hovering over them or micromanaging.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, what is it? One of the basic core needs in our lives is this comfort and security, right? And Google, I think, just did a study maybe a couple of years ago about the effectiveness of teamwork. And they said the number one thing that allows them to propel forward is the fact that they feel safe and secure to up, right? And just having that level of security, and that takes a long time to actually instill in another person that, hey, listen, okay, if we're in a manager, supervisor, direct report relationship, they're afraid that they're going to mess up and it's not going to work. No, that's not the point. I hire you for your potential, right? Right.
That's brilliant. So the other piece of it, though, is getting stuff done, making things happen. The way you shared, there's no value to it. It could be good things or bad things. And so how do you reconcile? How do you play with that? Is leadership for good? Is it to get good things done? Or really, can it just be about accomplishing a task, regardless of what the task is?
I think that's what I was trying to get at between there is leadership and then there's like great leadership, right? So leadership to me is about inspiring that confidence in someone to get something done. But great leadership is inspiring confidence in someone to get something great done, right? But that word inspire, it's how do you inspire confidence, right? But inspiring means that, to me, you're trying to get that person to connect to a higher purpose that's beyond what they may see. They want to connect to something larger than themselves.
Yeah, I hear it. So we're in the middle of a pandemic. How do we do it now when we're not face-to-face or engaged in one another's spaces at a workplace? How do we do it virtually when we're really separate and not able for those touch points that we used to have?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's a good topic. I think I wrote about it a lot. You and I have spoken about it a bunch. I think at first, everything starts with empathy, right? We're all dealing with something. Let's face it, the world is scary right now. And if you're not scared, there's something else wrong with you, right? So there's so many unknowns. And just connecting on that fact and basking in that and connecting with your team, your supervisor, whoever, it doesn't matter what relation it is. You just connect over the fact that we're in the same boat, right? We're dealing with the same shitstorm. Some worse than others, some better than others. But I think in today, so empathy, everything starts with this kind of connection of how the you doing? Like, let's be real. Okay, yeah, I got all these things, I got all these meetings on my calendar, but no. How are you doing? Because I hear your kid crying in the other room, right? It's understanding and realizing, hey, let's be human first, right?
Yeah.
And then you start to build, and you use technology to connect, right? And to be able to, I mean, think about it. If this whole thing happened even 5 years ago, man, I'd be screwed. I mean, getting connectivity to have a video conference, it wasn't even in existence 5 years ago, right? And now it's like cameras on, nonstop. We're on Zoom right now. So it's embracing that technology. So I think those are your two starting points: empathy, and then embrace technology, and you find ways to better connect with your folks.
So at the first part, how do you encourage your team members, your subordinates, to shake off some of their protective gear so that they can really share and show you their true, authentic self, and to share with you their struggles and their challenges in a way that is able to lift all of you up, your whole team, rather than make people feel like, ashamed because they've got a kid running around? By the way, this would be an amazing time for George or Jack to run into your office right now.
I know. Um, but
And for the viewers, George and Jack are Joe's kids.
Oh yeah. But this is the playroom, by the way. That's also our spare bedroom and also the office. So what I do is sometimes when I need a breakdown, I just go over there, grab a truck, and I start driving around a little bit. But to answer your question, how do you create an environment where people feel safe to share and take their armor off? The answer is super simple. Take yours off first, right? Take it off. Show everybody what you got, in an appropriate way. But show them that it's okay, and that not only, like, don't get frazzled when Jack or George comes in here, or you're going to hear George cry in the other room. It's part of life. This is the stuff that we're dealing with, right? And what I'm dealing with, you're dealing with too, on a different level. Maybe it's the same stuff, but listen, this is what I got going on. I'm not, when you're authentic, there's nothing to hide. You shouldn't be ashamed of anything, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like some of the basic recipes of maintaining some integrity and this authenticity, right? So yeah, take your armor off first. Show them. Share it.
So let me flip the question now. We're going to go back at some point to our offices, and we're not going to have the same type of distractions and engagements from family, kids in this scenario, at the office. How do you shake off that armor then when it's not physically around us all the time and we have this sort of separation between work and home, work and play? What do we do to encourage that?
I think, every organization is different. Every manager is a little bit different. And you have to comply with whatever the guidelines that the company and the government has and such. But for me and my team and my department and the things that we're doing, there is some real great things that have happened through this pandemic, and it is working from home. There's been this belief that people request working from home and they can't really be trusted. They're actually going to cut their grass. They're doing whatever. To me, I don't care. As long as the work gets done, they want to maintain that balance. Go ahead. And you know what? That freedom and that flexibility, and I'm very, very communicative with my teams. Listen, don't care about that. As long as you get your results, go. Please get out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
It does us no good to have burnout sitting in a dark room in the basement somewhere, pounded away at a spreadsheet. No. Go out and go exercise. Go do something. Take care of yourself. So I think for me, right, and this is what we're doing at work, is one is have a common sense approach, right? You got to take care of yourself and your family first. But we have proven the fact that we can be more productive working from home than actually in the office. Why would we screw that up?
Totally.
Allow that flexibility for people to go ahead and do what they need to do. I was telling Michelle, my wife, that things are starting to turn around in New Jersey. Things are, we're still in this state of social distancing, and the numbers keep coming down. And I got this panic up that set over me. I said, "What's wrong?" I fear that we're going to have to go back into the office at some point. Once things get better. She goes, "Why does that upset you?" I don't want to give this up either.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful thing that my kids get to see me work. I get to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with my kids. Man, this is a great time for the American family, for sure.
Totally. A faculty member at Simmons College, her name is Stacy Blake Beard. She and I have worked on a number of mentorship related research projects. She is phenomenal. And she's talked about we need to move away from this notion of work-life balance and move more towards work-life integration. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And this COVID right now has really prompted us to think differently about what does balance versus integration mean, and how integration is going to be so much more effective for our well-being and our productivity in both home and work.
Absolutely. And I even bring it back to that my definition of leadership, right? Or what the fuck is leadership? And it's about inspiring that confidence and connecting to something. I think the underlying factor is purpose. And if there's one thing that has been revealed to me throughout this experience, it was a reaffirmation that everything I do is for my family. I love my family, right? And I love everything that we do. So what are the common threads between work and family? Right? And you just make those connections. So it's a work-life integration.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta keep those things alive. And when I'm talking about inspiring that confidence and getting somebody to connect to something bigger, everybody has goals and they want to become something. They want to do more, become more. Well, okay, if you did this one report, do you see it as just a report? Or is it something that's going to help you get closer to achieving your own personal goals, to achieve whatever that might be?
Yeah.
So you can be the best version of yourself.
I love it. So let me ask one last question. And I share this. There's lots of qualities I love about you. In particular, I love how entrepreneurial you are and how ambitious you are in creating leadership systemic change within your organizations. You've done it at your team in Boston. You've done it now at GAF at an organizational, institutional level, creating a new leadership program company-wide. How do you instill these values or this understanding of leadership at an organizational level rather than just you as a leader, a positional leader within the organization?
Yeah. First, I thought you were also going to say my good looks, but I guess I didn't make the list.
That's the second tier of qualities.
All right. So yeah, how do you do that, right? I think again, getting back to that belief and appreciation and your outward appreciation and value of your employees, and to connect to it's the same stuff. Connect to something bigger than what they are. But I love, and this is connecting to some of my purpose, right? And I connect my why statement to very much my definition of leadership.
Mm-hmm.
It's inspiring confidence in others so that they can do more and become more, right? And I see every person that I work with in the organization, we have our own struggles, right? Let's simplify it, connect to it, and let's overcome it together, right? And I think by showing people that and demonstrating it and valuing it in others when they take those leaps, and that's where the transformation starts to happen.
Well, and you, there's no question, are a transformational leader. You're tapping into the spirit, to the heart of transformational leadership, which there was a major change in our collective leadership thinking from transactional to transformational. And it's rooted in this notion of being a developmental experience, a developmental enterprise. And we've got to, if we're going to be transformational, focus on the leadership development and growth and learning of our people. And that's exactly what you do.
Thank you, Johnny. And I think when we talk about the definition of great leadership, I think the greatest thing to do, right, to do something great, is develop other leaders.
Well, right? Save that for what the fuck is great leadership. This is just regular leadership. With that, Joe, I let the guest provide a last word. What is something that you want to share about leadership as a way to end this conversation?
Leadership is a lifestyle, right? And it never ends. So keep on going.
Brilliant. Joe, thank you so very much for this conversation. It was absolutely fantastic. And what a great way for me to get in my July 4th Independence Day mindset.
Nice. Johnny, thank you so much for the time.
Thanks for joining this conversation on what the leadership is. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to this channel and don't forget to check out leadershiptrainer.org for all of your leadership training, programming, and resources.